That night, when Anna stepped out of her quiet home holding the wallet her husband had forgotten, she believed she was only doing her duty as a caring wife. She whispered to herself, "Daniel will be stranded without this," and hurried toward the rideshare car she had ordered. The moment she settled into the back seat, the driver pressed the central lock, and all the doors clicked shut. Anna blinked in confusion. "Sir, why did you lock the doors?" she asked softly. The driver, a middle-aged man named Mr. Harris, kept his eyes forward and said in a shaky voice, "Don't step out here. Please, just trust me." Anna felt her heartbeat rise, not knowing that this moment would change everything she believed about her life. As the minutes crawled by, Anna stared at the driver through the rearview mirror. He looked frightened, almost sick, as if he expected something terrible to appear from the shadows outside. "Sir, please tell me what's going on," she whispered, clutching the wallet to her chest. Mr. Harris didn't turn around. "Just wait 5 minutes," he said. "Your life depends on it." Anna swallowed hard. She thought about opening the door, but the locks held tight. A cold fear ran through her body as she pressed her forehead against the window, praying silently for safety while the night around them grew heavier and darker. Anna had left home at exactly 12:15 after discovering Daniel's wallet buried beneath papers on his messy desk. She had called him again and again, but his number rang endlessly. "He must be on the road already," she told herself, trying to stay calm. She didn't drive at night because the headlights blinded her, so ordering a ride was her only choice. When she climbed into Mr. Harris's car, she had apologized for the late hour. "No problem, ma'am," he had said then, sounding far calmer than he did now. The sudden shift in his behavior terrified her more than the darkness outside. The car rolled through the empty highway, streetlights casting orange flashes across Anna's face. She checked her phone again. Still no response from Daniel. She sent him a message saying she was bringing the wallet to the airport, but it remained unread. Inside the car, the silence felt unnatural. Mr. Harris kept glancing nervously into the mirror. At one point Anna asked, "Are you all right?" But he only muttered, "Just stay still." His hands tightened on the steering wheel as he whispered to himself, "It has to be soon." Anna felt her stomach twist. Something was coming and she didn't know what. When they finally entered the airport zone, Anna breathed a small sigh of relief. Bright lights shone ahead, promising safety. But instead of stopping at the busy entrance, the driver slowly guided the car toward the darker, silent end of the drop-off area. "Excuse me, sir," Anna said, her voice trembling. "I need the main lobby." Mr. Harris didn't reply. His jaw clenched as sweat rolled down his temple. The car stopped beside a tall concrete pillar, far away from people. Anna grabbed the door handle and pulled, but it didn't open. She tried again. Nothing. Panic burst through her chest. "Why won't you let me out?" she cried. Mr. Harris whispered, "Because if you step out now, he will take you." Anna froze in the back seat, gripping the wallet like it was a shield. "Who will take me?" she whispered, her voice cracking. Mr. Harris finally looked at her through the mirror. His eyes filled with real fear. "A man is waiting outside," he said softly. "If you open that door, he will grab you before you even scream." Anna shook her head, unable to believe it. "Why would anyone do that to me?" she asked. Mr. Harris didn't answer. Instead, he lifted his trembling hand and pointed toward the darkness behind the concrete pillar. Just then, Anna saw a faint movement, a shadow shifting where no one should have been. Her breath caught in her throat. "Dear God," she whispered as her pulse raced. The figure crouched low, as if waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Mr. Harris whispered urgently, "Keep your head down." Anna slid off the seat and curled into a ball, tears rolling down her cheeks. She could hear the faint sound of metal clicking, like someone opening a pocketknife. She pressed her hands over her ears, praying for a miracle. 5 minutes felt like a lifetime. Anna stared at the digital clock on the dashboard as the numbers changed slowly. Suddenly, flashing red and blue lights exploded around them. 3 police cars screeched to a halt, surrounding the area. "Stay down!" Mr. Harris yelled. Officers leaped out with rifles raised. Anna shut her eyes tightly, waiting for gunfire. But instead of aiming at their car, the officers ran past them toward the shadowed figure behind the pillar. Shouts and the sound of struggling filled the air as they tackled the man to the ground. Anna peeked through the window just in time to see officers dragging a man out of the darkness. His cap fell to the ground, and a shiny folding knife slipped from his pocket. Another officer lifted a cloth soaked with liquid. Even from inside the car, Anna caught a sharp chemical smell that made her gag. "Chloroform," one officer said. Anna's whole body shook. She realized she had been seconds away from being drugged and kidnapped. When an officer approached the car, she flinched, expecting an arrest, but instead he saluted Mr. Harris. "Good work, Harris," the officer said. "Target secured." Anna blinked in confusion. "Harris, good work." Mr. Harris finally unlocked the doors. The click echoed like freedom. Anna pushed the door open and stumbled out, still trembling. "What is happening?" she cried. "Why are they thanking you?" Mr. Harris stepped out slowly and faced her with a calm, almost fatherly look. "My name is Matthew Harris," he said gently. "I was your father's head of security years ago. He asked me to protect you even after he passed away." Anna stared at him, stunned. "My father," she whispered. "But I thought you retired." Matthew nodded. "I did. But before he died, he came to me and said, 'Watch over my daughter. She trusts too easily.' I respected him more than any man I ever served. So when I received information that someone had planned to kidnap you tonight, I followed you." Anna placed a hand over her mouth as tears filled her eyes again. "Someone planned this. But who would want to hurt me?" she asked in a shaking voice. Matthew didn't speak at first. Instead, he lifted his hand and pointed toward the bright glass windows of the airport's second floor. Anna followed the direction of his finger, and her breath stopped. There stood Daniel, her husband. But he wasn't alone. Next to him stood her best friend, Lisa, wearing a red dress and holding Daniel's arm like she belonged there. Daniel slammed his phone against the floor in anger while Lisa rubbed his back, trying to calm him. Their 2 suitcases beside them looked nothing like work luggage. Anna felt her heart collapse inside her chest. No, that's not possible," she whispered, stepping backward. Matthew touched her shoulder gently. "I am sorry you have to see it this way." Anna kept staring at them. Daniel wrapped his arm around Lisa's waist, and the two looked down at the flashing police lights with frustration, not fear. "They were leaving together," Anna said in a cracked voice. "They planned this." Matthew nodded. "And they planned to make sure you never came home." Anna's knees weakened as the truth sank in. "He lured me out with the wallet," she said softly. "He knew I'd rush to bring it to him." Matthew nodded again. "Yes. And the man they just arrested was paid to grab you the moment you stepped onto the sidewalk." Anna began to cry quietly, her tears dropping onto the cold concrete. "Why would he do this to me? Why would my friend help him?" Matthew spoke gently. "Debt, greed, and the belief that you would never fight back." Anna wiped her tears, though her hands trembled. "What do I do now?" she whispered. Matthew's voice became firm but kind. "Now you go home. You pretend nothing happened. Daniel must believe you never saw him tonight." Anna looked at him with fear. "But why?" Matthew gave her a steady look. "Because the element of surprise is your greatest weapon. They think you are naive. Let them keep thinking that, while you prepare." Anna inhaled shakily. She realized she had just stepped into a war she never asked for. When Anna returned home, she felt like a stranger in her own house. She locked the door quietly and stood in the living room, staring at the familiar furniture that suddenly felt fake. "Everything here was built on lies," she murmured. She walked to the bathroom and washed her face again and again until her skin stung. In the mirror, she saw a different woman, one who had learned that love could hide monsters. "You will not break me," she whispered to herself. Her voice trembled, but her eyes were steady. Anna took Daniel's wallet and placed it between the couch cushions, exactly where it could appear forgotten. She rehearsed her expression for when Daniel returned. Tired, innocent, unaware. She sat on the sofa with a magazine open, pretending to read. Minutes felt like hours. Her heart jumped when she finally heard Daniel's car outside. She shut her eyes halfway and breathed slowly, pretending to sleep. The door burst open. "Anna!" Daniel shouted, sounding frustrated, not worried. She forced herself to look startled as she lifted her head. "Daniel, why are you back?" Anna asked softly, rubbing her eyes. He walked in quickly, breathing hard. I realized I didn't have my wallet," he said, pretending to laugh nervously. "I turned around. Traffic was awful." Anna nodded slowly, studying him. "I was worried when you didn't answer my calls," she said. Daniel rushed to the couch, spotted the wallet sticking out, and grabbed it with exaggerated relief. "Thank God," he muttered. He hugged her, and she smelled Lisa's perfume on his clothes. Still, she didn't pull away. Later, when Daniel went upstairs to shower, Anna crept into the bedroom and pulled out the tiny microphone Matthew had given her. She slipped it into the hidden pocket inside Daniel's favorite briefcase. She closed it gently just as the shower stopped. Seconds later, Daniel came out wrapped in a towel. "You okay?" he asked sweetly, as if nothing in his world had changed. Anna smiled softly and handed him clean clothes. "Just tired," she replied. "Travel safely tomorrow." That night, Anna lay awake, staring at the ceiling while Daniel slept beside her, breathing deeply without guilt. She waited until he turned in his sleep, then checked the app connected to the microphone. Hours later, the hidden device picked up a rustling sound. Daniel opened a secret drawer in his briefcase and pulled out a burner phone. Anna held her breath as she listened. "Lisa," Daniel whispered harshly. "The plan failed. Police showed up. I don't know how." Anna covered her mouth to stop herself from crying out. Lisa's voice came through clearly, angry and impatient. "What do we do now, Daniel? The deadline is tomorrow. If you don't pay those men, they'll come after all of us." Daniel cursed under his breath. "I have no money left. I need Anna to give me access to her safe." Lisa hissed. "Then make her trust you again. Bring her gifts. Cry if you have to." Anna shook her head as she listened. "So you want me dead for money?" she whispered. The betrayal burned deeper than any wound. At sunrise, Anna packed important documents and slipped out with Matthew. Together, they went to the bank and froze every account Daniel could touch. She opened a new one under a different name. Then they met her father's old lawyer, who helped her protect her properties. "Daniel cannot touch anything now," the lawyer assured her. Matthew placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You are doing the right thing, Anna." She nodded, though her heart felt like breaking. "I have to fight him," she whispered. "For my life." That afternoon, Daniel arrived home with roses in one hand and a small pharmacy bag in the other. "Honey, I brought you something," he said with a tender smile. Anna forced a blush. "Oh, that's sweet." He handed her a bottle of vitamins. "These will give you energy. I want you feeling strong." She noticed the seal looked poorly glued. "Thank you," she said calmly. Daniel watched closely as she opened it. When he turned away for a moment, she slipped a capsule into the sink. The white powder dissolved instantly. During dinner, Daniel kept insisting, "Take one, babe. I want to see you healthy." Anna smiled softly. "Of course." She placed a mint candy in her mouth instead, pretending it was the pill. Daniel nodded, satisfied. But as she watched him eat, she could see panic behind his smile. The poison wasn't working. Anna maintained her calm, pretending not to notice anything unusual. Inside, she was counting every second until he made his next desperate move. 3 days passed, and Daniel grew impatient. He paced around the kitchen, checking his phone constantly, muttering about time running out. Anna moved gracefully through the house, acting peaceful and cheerful. But inside she studied every detail. his mood, his tone, his lies. One morning, she called him with a bright voice. "Daniel, I want to cook a special dinner tonight. I want things to feel normal again." Daniel froze. "Dinner? Really?" She laughed softly. "Yes. And I miss Lisa. Should I invite her?" Daniel hesitated. Anna could almost hear his thoughts racing. Yeah," he said finally. "Invite her. That's a great idea." Anna smiled because she had just pulled him into the trap. That evening, she set the table with candles and her finest dishes. She wore a simple maroon dress and tied her hair neatly. When the bell rang, Daniel opened the door for Lisa, who stood there in a tight silver dress, acting innocent. "Anna, it's been forever," Lisa said loudly. "I'm so happy to see you." Anna hugged her gently. "Welcome." Dinner began with soft laughter and fake smiles. Daniel and Lisa exchanged glances when they thought Anna wasn't looking. Anna served them politely, listening to them talk about work and travel. Halfway through the meal, she placed her fork down. "I need to tell you something strange," she said. "I had a dream last night." Daniel paused mid-bite. "A dream?" Anna nodded slowly. "Yes, in the dream, a woman was betrayed by her husband and best friend. They tried to kill her for money." Lisa's hand trembled, and her wineglass clinked softly. Daniel forced a laugh. "That's a horrible dream, babe. You shouldn't think of such things." Anna tilted her head and continued calmly. "In the dream, they hired a man with chloroform at the airport. And they gave her poisoned vitamins." Daniel choked on his food and began coughing violently. Lisa's face turned pale as she grabbed her napkin. Anna watched them with cool eyes. "But thank God it was only a dream," she added softly. "My husband would never do that to me." Before they could recover, Anna delivered the final blow. "That dream made me think about life," she said with a gentle smile. "So today I changed my will." Daniel froze. Lisa's eyes widened. "Changed your will?" Daniel asked shakily. Anna nodded. "Yes. If I die for any reason before I turn 60, all my money goes to charity. Every single dollar. Not to family. Not to anyone else." The room fell completely silent. Daniel's fork slipped from his hand. Lisa whispered, "Why would you do that?" Anna shrugged softly. "Because I want my blessings to go somewhere meaningful." Daniel swallowed hard, trying to hide the terror in his eyes. He leaned forward. "Anna, that's extreme. You should think this through." She cut him off gently. "I already have." What they didn't know was that a tiny camera hidden in the corner of the dining room captured every reaction. Matthew was watching the live feed with the police chief, documenting everything. Daniel and Lisa left the house soon after, making excuses about being tired. The moment they stepped outside, their faces twisted with fury. That night, Anna listened through the mic as Daniel's voice shook with panic. "She changed the will. Lisa, we're done." Lisa hissed. "Then force her to sign another one. We need the house, the land, everything. If she won't die, break her until she does what you want." Daniel paced and cursed. "Fine. We'll do it tomorrow." The next evening, Daniel met 3 dangerous men in a shady diner. He paid them with the last money he had. "Go to the house," he whispered. "Tie her up. Make her sign everything." One of the men smirked. "No problem." Later that night, Daniel and Lisa rode with the thugs in a van toward Anna's home. When they reached the gate, the house was dark. "She's here," Daniel muttered. "She always leaves the porch light on." They broke into the house quietly and searched every room. But the house was empty. Lisa shoved Daniel. "Where is she?" Daniel ran into the living room, where a laptop suddenly lit up. A video call appeared automatically. Anna's face filled the screen. She wore a black scarf and sat in an unknown location. "Good evening, Daniel." "Good evening, Lisa," she said calmly. The thugs stared in confusion. Anna smiled faintly. "I see you brought guests." She pointed to the top right corner of their screen. This is a live stream, she explained. My lawyer and several police officers are watching everything happening in that house. Daniel began shaking. Anna, stop this. Where are you? She ignored his question. You want money. Fine. I will show you where it is. But understand this. If anyone touches me, they will go to prison for life. His desperation overpowered his caution. Where is the money? Tell me. Anna described an old warehouse her father once owned. Behind machine number 7, under the concrete floor, she said softly. There is a safe with gold and cash. Enough to pay your debt. Lisa gasped. Is it true? Anna nodded with a gentle smile. Very true. Daniel snapped the laptop shut. Let's go, he shouted. He didn't notice Anna whisper to her phone. They're moving. Matthew, following from a distance, nodded. Let's finish this. The van stopped in front of the abandoned warehouse. Daniel and the thugs broke open the rusty door and rushed inside. For nearly an hour, they smashed the floor until a safe appeared. Daniel's hands trembled as he entered the code. This is it, he whispered. But when he opened the safe, the only thing inside was paperwork. His gambling debt, secret transfers he had made, and photos of him and Lisa together. A white envelope on top read, "A gift for the traitors." Daniel tore open the envelope. Inside, one page waited. The treasure you seek is not here. Only the truth you tried to hide. Lisa gasped. She tricked us. Daniel screamed. Suddenly, police lights flashed through the warehouse windows. Officers stormed inside with weapons drawn. Everyone on the ground, they shouted. Daniel froze, then collapsed as the thugs were tackled. Lisa burst into tears, screaming, "No, please." Moments later, the doors opened quietly. Anna stepped inside wearing a cream coat, her scarf neatly placed. Matthew walked behind her like a silent guardian. Daniel lifted his head from the floor. "Anna, please, it was a mistake," he sobbed. "I love you." I was desperate. Anna stepped back to avoid his touch. "You watched from the airport window as someone waited to kidnap me," she said coldly. "You handed me poison with a smile. That wasn't love." Lisa cried loudly. "Anna, I didn't mean anything. He forced me." Anna looked at her with sad eyes. "You were my friend. I trusted you with everything." Officers lifted both of them to their feet. "Anna," the police chief said, "they'll be charged with attempted murder, fraud, and conspiracy." Anna nodded. She looked at Daniel one last time. "You could have asked for help, but you chose evil." Daniel couldn't even answer as he was dragged away. 6 months later, Anna stood at the same airport where her nightmare began. But this time, she carried a small suitcase and a peaceful smile. She was traveling for the first time alone, beginning her long-awaited trip to Mecca and then Turkey. Matthew walked beside her, proud like family. Anna paused near the concrete pillar where her life had almost ended. "You survived," Matthew whispered. Anna nodded. "And now I begin again." When she boarded her flight, she felt the final chapter close behind her. She was free, stronger, and ready to write the rest of her life on her own terms.